Ajamedha, text 26. Gandharyam Dhritarashtrasya Gandharyam Dhritarashtrasya Jagne Putrashatam Nrupa Jagne Putrashatam Nrupa Tatra Duryodhanaha Jeshtaha Tatra Duryodhano Jeshto Dushala Cha Api Kanyaka Dushala Chapi Kanyaka Gandharyam Dhritarashtrasya Jagne Putra Shatam Nrupa Tatra Duryodhano Jeshto Dushala Chapi Kanyaka Gandharyam Dhritarashtrasya Jagne Putra Shatam Nrupa Tatra Duryodhano Jeshto Dushala Chapi Kanyaka. Gandharyam, in the womb of Gandhari, Dhritarashtrasya, of Dhritarashtra, Jagne were born, Putrashatam, 100 sons, Nripa, O King Parikshit, Tatra, among the sons, Duryodhanaha, the son named Duryodhana, Jeshtaha, the eldest, Dushala, Dushala, Cha Api, also, Kanyaka, one daughter. Translation by His Divine Grace, Shri Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Dhritarashtra's wife, Gandhari, gave birth to 100 sons and one daughter. O king, O king. The oldest of the sons was Duryodhana, and the daughter's name was Dushala. Please repeat the translation. Dhritarashtra's wife, Gandhari, gave birth to 100 sons and one daughter, O king. The oldest of the sons was Duryodhana, and the daughter's name was Dushala. There is no purport, so I will read some more texts. Texts 27 and 28. Shapan maituna ruddhasya phando kuntyam maharatham jata dharmani lendrebhyo yudhishthira mukhastrayah Nakula Sahadevascha Madriyam Nasatyadasrayo Draupadyam Pancha Panchabhyaha Putraste Pitaro Bhavan. Pandu was restrained from sexual life because of having been cursed by a sage. And therefore, his three sons, Yudhishthira, Bhima, and Arjuna, were begotten through the womb of his wife Kunti by Dharmaraja, by the demigod controlling the wind, and by the demigod controlling the rain. Pandu's second wife, Madri, gave birth to Nakula and Sahadeva, who were begotten by the two Ashwini Kumaras. The five brothers, headed by Yudhishthira, begot five sons through the womb of Draupadi. These five sons were your uncles. Text 29. Yudhishtirat Prativindya Shrutaseno Vrikodharat Arjunat Chutrakirtistu Shatanikastu Nal Kulihi. From Yudhishthira came a son named Pratibindya, from Bhima a son named Shrutasena, from Arjuna a son named Shrutakirti, and from Nakula a son named Shatanika. Texts 30-31. Sahadeva Suto Rajan Sutakarma Tata Pare Yudhishthiratu Pauramyam Devakota Gatot Kachaha Bhimasena Didimbayam Kalyam Sarvagatas Sahadevat Suhotram Tu Vijayasuta Parvati. O king, the son of Sahadeva was Shrutakarma. Furthermore, Yudhishthira and his brothers begot other sons and other wives. Yudhishthira begot a son named Devaka through the womb of Pauravi, and Bhimasena begot a son named Gatotkacha through his wife Hidimba, and a son named Sarvagata through his wife Kali. Similarly, Sahadeva had a son named Suhotra through his wife named Vijaya, who was the daughter of the king of the mountains. Text 32. Karenumatyam Nakulo Naramitram Tatarjuna Viravantam Ulupyam Vai Sutayam Babruvahanam Manipura Pate Sopi Tatputra Putrika Sutaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Nakula begot a son named Naramitra through his wife named Karenumati. Similarly, Arjuna begot a son named Iravan through his wife known as Ulupi, the daughter of the Nagas, and a son named Babruvahana by the womb of the princess of Manipura. Babruvahana became the adopted son of the king of Manipura. Purport. It is to be understood that Parvati is the daughter of the king of very old mountainous country known as the Manipura state. 5,000 years ago, therefore, when the Pandavas ruled, Manipur existed as did its king. Therefore, this kingdom is a very old aristocratic Vaishnava kingdom. If this kingdom is organized as a Vaishnava state, this revitalization will be a great success because for 5,000 years, this state has maintained its identity. If the Vaishnava spirit is revived there, it will be a wonderful place, renowned throughout the entire world. Manipuri Vaishnavas are very famous in Vaishnava society. In Vrindavan and Navadvip, there are many temples constructed by the king of Manipur. Some of our devotees belong to the Manipur state. The Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, can be well spread in the state of Manipura by the cooperative efforts of the Krishna conscious devotees. Thus ends the Bhagavatam purport and translations to Canto 9, Chapter 22, texts 26 to 32. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-anjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we see the description of the details of the Kuru Vamsha being explained by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. So, beginning with text 26 is talking about Gandharyam Dhritarashtrasya. Dhritarashtra's wife named Gandhari, Jagne Putra Shatam Nripa. She gave birth to Putra Shatam, 100 sons. Tatra Duryodhano Jeshto. Jeshta means the eldest. Tatra Duryodhano. Among the 100 sons, Duryodhana was the eldest of all. And Dushala cha api kanyaka. And Dhritarashtra and Gandhari had one daughter. So 100 male sons and one female. And the female the daughter was named Dushala. So how did Gandhari give birth to 100 sons? So when Gandhari got to know from some reliable sources that Kunti had given birth to Yudhishthira Maharaj, then she became very restless, and she was also pregnant at that time. She was 1 year pregnant that time, but she didn't give birth to a child. But when she got to know that Kunti had already given birth to a son, she became very restless, and then she became very upset that she is not able to give birth to her son because the gestation period went long. She was not giving birth. Therefore, she actually beat her chest, her abdomen, and a lump of flesh came out of her abdomen. It was like an iron ball. Then she was shocked. Oh my God, what is this? Some lump of flesh has come from my stomach. Instead of a son, I thought one child will take birth, but one lump of flesh has come. So actually, just before this episode of Gandhari marrying Dhritarashtra, sometime back, when Srila Vedavyas came to the palace of Gandhari, Gandhari, as her very name indicates, she is from the Gandhar region. Gandhar, today it is called Kandahar, I think, is the state capital of Afghanistan. So Mother Kunti actually is an Afghan woman. So she was from Afghanistan. Her king was the king of the mountainous region called Afghanistan. So when Vyasadeva visited Afghanistan long time back, thousands of years back, Gandhari was very conscious and consciously she served Vyasadeva very nicely. And Vyasadeva, being very pleased with her service, blessed her that you will have 100 sons. Similarly, there was one more occasion where she received a boon, a blessing from Lord Shiva. that she will have 100 sons. So therefore, she had the blessings of two great personalities, Lord Shiva and Srila Vedavyas, that she'll have 100 sons. And accordingly, we see that so so she's supposed to have 100 sons. Now Gandhari thought, oh, what is this? Vyasadeva has blessed me with 100 sons, but here there is no one son also. It's only a lump of flesh has come from me. So she became very upset. Just at that time, Vyasadeva arrived. And then she appealed to Vyasadeva. My dear Vyasadeva, you had blessed me that there will be 100 sons, but here I see a lump of flesh. What is this? Vyasadeva said, no, my blessing, my word will never prove wrong. You will certainly have 100 sons. Then she said, what to do with this lump of flesh? So he's So accordingly, this lump of flesh was kept in 101 pots and concealed. And after 2 years, they opened the first pot. And when the first pot was opened, for the surprise, true to the word of Vyasadeva, one child, size of a thumb, was to be seen in that pot. But Dhritarashtra and others observed some terrible things happen at that time, filling the entire world. Jackals were crying, were loudly shouting, all inauspicious things. That fire sprang up in all directions in the city, of Hastinapura, and it raged all the directions in the city. Terrible sounds began from all the sides. So a lot of bad omens were there. Jackals howled, the wind blew fiercely without any reason, like that. So Dhritarashtra asked, will this son, see, after seeing these omens also, see how Dhritarashtra's mind is working. He is asking Vidura and Bhishma, will this son be a deserving descendant of our Kuru Vamsha? Will he become a qualified king of the Yadus, of the Kuru Vamsha? Just imagine, such bad omens are coming, indicating it's a very bad son. And still he is asking Bhishma and Vidura, hope that he'll be the glorious Kuru, higher. But Vidura plainly said, my dear king, better you cast him away from outside the country. That will protect you, the kingdom, and the Kuru Vamsha. Otherwise, by the inauspicious omens, it is very clear that the entire Kuru race will come to an end. If you don't do this, cast him away. Dhritarashtra thought, because Vidura is always right, but due to affection, he could not heed to the advice of Vidura. Rather, he said to the attendants there, no, 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 please take him inside the palace and nurture him and bring him up nicely. Anyway, that was the fate of the Kurus, of the Kauravas. Then the other 99 pots were opened, and 99 sons emerged from those pots in the size of the thumb. So Vyasadeva's word came to be true. So that's how Gandhari gave birth to 100 sons and then one daughter by name Dushala, as explained here. Then in the next two verses, it explain how Pandu had a curse not to beget children. He was cursed by a sage by name Kindama. So when Pandu was once Pandu went to the forest, at that time he had shot some arrow upon a deer. Unfortunately, at that time the deer was uniting with his mating with his wife, but Pandu didn't realize that. He just shot an arrow, and then the deer was about to die. But surprisingly, before the deer died, it started speaking. It said, "My dear king, you are the unworthy son of your descendants, because no glorious king, no religious king will try to kill an animal, rather protect the animal." Then the King Pandu, defended, saying that it is the duty of the king to keep the forest free from all dangers for the rishis and munis to practice peaceful meditation and austerity. And it is also the duty of the king to keep his weaponry skills alive, and for which he is allowed to hunt sometimes. The second reason he gave. The third reason he gave was it is also the duty of the king to assist the Brahmanas in Vedic sacrifices by offering them sacrificial animals. Therefore, my dear, I think I am justified in killing you. I don't think anything is wrong. Then the deer continued speaking. Yes, my dear king, I understand the duties of the king, but the Shastras also say that when somebody is about to beget a child, unite with his consort for begetting a child, that time one should not kill. Otherwise, there'll be all inauspiciousness. And then this deer revealed his original uh, identity as a great sage by name Kindama. So Pandu reflected on this deer's words, and then he became very sorry, put his head down in shame. So then what to do? So then this deer cursed him, saying that when I was in my happy moment, you had brought me unhappiness. Similarly, when you will be in your happy moments, you will also face the same destiny. That means when you also unite with your wife, you will also die untimely. Like that he cursed. But he also wanted to uh, bless him, because if he does not curse him, actually it is inauspicious for the king, because if the reaction of the sin is not experienced within that very lifetime, the king may have to suffer the consequences next birth, even more severely. That is the law of nature. When we commit a wrong deed, there must be prayashchitta or parihara. There must be atonement. And if that does not take place, that sin does remain, and the next life you may have to suffer more. This is discussed in the sixth canto of Bhagavatam, in the first chapter, beginning verses. Shukadeva Goswami says, based on the intensity of the sin, the punishment, the atonement is also severe. With a simple sin, simple wrong act, the atonement or prashita is very simple. If the sinful deed or act committed is quite grave in nature, grievous in nature, atonement or prashita also is more serious. And Shukadeva Goswami says, if the prashita or atonement does not take place at the earliest, then as time passes, the severity of the atonement will increase. Just like when a wound is left unattended, then the treatment also will become very serious as time passes. If you attend to the wound immediately, treatment will be simple. But if you leave the wound or the disease unattended, then you have to undergo second level, third level of treatment. So, therefore, the sage thought it wise, better that he suffer the reaction of this wrong deed now itself, in this lifetime. Therefore, in that sense, it was actually a blessing, so that he will be finished of his karma. So, because of this, anyway, Pandu was not able to unite with his wife and beget children. And this is the reason why um, Kunti had to beget children in some other way. So Pandu says, what can be done? Then he suggested that you better marry a qualified Brahmana, more superior to me, and beget children and continue the Kuru Vamsha, the Pandava Vamsha. Otherwise, it'll end. So then Kunti Devi, being very chaste, being very devoted to Pandu, that very thought was, uh, she could not digest that very thought, that very word. Pandu said, but I am giving you the permission, therefore it is very much as per dharma. It's nothing wrong. Still Kunti Maharani, she could not take it. Then Kunti Devi, she remembered suddenly one great boon which she received from Durvasa Muni. You might all have heard about that. So when Durvasa Muni, similarly, just like Vyasadeva visited Gandhari's kingdom, Durvasa Muni was a guest of the Pandavas at one point in the past. And Kunti Devi, she was a young girl. So, uh, sorry, it was in Kunti Bhoja. It was in her kingdom before her marriage. She was a young girl. So she took care of Durvasa Muni very nicely. And Durvasa Muni was very pleased and he wanted to bless her. Then he gave a boon. He gave a mantra to her. And he told that whenever you, yeah, Krishna Balaram Gopta, Prabhupada, he said, whenever you chant this mantra and call for a devata, a demigod, he will appear. And whatever desire you have, you can put it across him. He will certainly fulfill your desire. Like that. So she was a young girl, unmarried girl. So she just didn't take it very seriously. But out of curiosity, she thought, okay, let me try once. And then she actually chanted the mantra and called. First, you have to chant the mantra, and whichever devata, demigod you want to call, you have to remember. Just by the remembrance, he will come down. He will appear in front of Kunti, not in front of us. So, so then Kunti Devi, out of curiosity, chanted the mantra, and she thought of Surya Devi. Immediately, Lord Surya appeared in his chariot with all brilliance. She was surprised. She didn't expect that Surya will really come actually. Just like you call the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, come, he has appeared here. So you'll be shocked now, your mind may not work. Oh, what to ask him now? So then Surya said, yes, my dear young girl, what do you want from me? So she thought, I didn't expect that you will come. Anyway, my visit cannot go waste. I have to give you something. So she didn't ask anything. Then he said, I will give you a son. She was like shocked. But she said, I'm not married. What will happen? Don't worry. Your virginity will be maintained. Therefore, through that union, she gave birth to a son through her ear. That's why he's called Karna. These are all very mystical happenings which we have no possibility of any comprehension in the modern world because we are not pious. We do not know deeper dynamics and mysteries of this world. We have no idea. Anyway, we'll not discuss that now. Maybe another occasion we can talk more on these lines. the mysteries of the universe, mysteries of different kinds of births. In Kali Yuga, you can actually see most of the mysteries are almost zero. Because the more people become sinful, there'll be no glorious things happening. Mostly it is miserable things which will be happening. Miserable mysteries are possible, like global corona, uh, 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 pan-country earthquakes. Such miserable mysteries are possible, but glorious mysteries are not possible. For that, you require punya or sukriti. So Kali Yuga people are not blessed, unfortunately. So here you can see so many things happening. Hmm. So she gave birth to Karna in that way. Then, so Pandu requested. Then, so she remembered that, and then she told Pandu that I have this boon from Durvasa Muni. Then Pandu was very much delighted. He said, by God's grace, somehow there is a relief now. So why don't you call the Devatas and then beget children? He said that you can call um, Dharma or Yamaraj and pray to him to give a son, a qualified son to continue the Pandava Vamsha. Then she chants the mantra and remembers Yamaraj. Immediately Yamaraj appears and gives her a son named Dharmaraj. That was Yudhishthira Maharaj, the son of Dharma. Actually, Yamaraj. See, Yamaraj is called Dharmaraj. Interestingly, right? I was thinking Yama is Yama. No, Yama is Dharma. Right? He is punishing all the time, all the jivas. Yes, to uphold religion, he is punishing everyone. To uphold religion. Only those who go against the tenets of Dharma, he will punish. All souls don't go to Yamaloka after death, by the by. All souls don't go to Yamaloka. Only sinful souls go to Yamaloka. Not all souls. By and large, they will take immediate next birth as per their karma. But if they're sinful people, then only they'll go to Yamaloka. Not everyone. So then again she called, by Pandu's request, once again, she called upon the wind god Vayudev, because Pandu said that, okay, we have a righteous son, that's nice, but we also require a strong ruler, a powerful king. So then accordingly she called Vayudev, and then she was blessed with Bhima, who was very, very powerful. Then they also wanted a devoted king to rule the kingdom. So then Indra was known to be highly devoted to Lord Krishna. It was well known that Indra was a very great devotee of Lord Krishna and highly devoted to Lord Krishna. Very pious, extremely pious. Actually, the most pious soul will become Indra. It is not that anybody can become Indra, although we may sometimes hear some affairs of Indra, wrong acts of Indra. They're to be overlooked upon. But because by and large, Indra is an extremely pious soul. Nobody can become Indra without being extremely pious and devoted to Vishnu. Nobody can occupy that post. It will not be given. It's not a material qualification alone. Primarily, it is devotion to the Lord by which one can become a demigod, especially Indra. So Indra was known to be very devoted to Krishna. So Pandu said that, why don't we call Indra and get a devoted son, devoted to Lord Krishna. And Indra was called, and accordingly Arjuna was born. Then Bhishmadev thought that Pandu should also have one more wife. And that's how he was married to Madri. She was the daughter of the king of Madra. Actually, it is Madras. So like that. And when Madri got to know that Kunti already had given birth to 3 children and she has none, similar to Gandhari, then she also became very restless. This is the nature of a woman. If somebody is having children and I don't have, then she becomes very compelled, very disturbed. And she said, my dear king, I don't have children, so I'm very unfortunate. So is there no possibility? Then Pandu said, so because through Pandu she cannot beget a child. Then finally they requested Kunti to share that mantra, that secret mantra to Madri. But Kunti will not give that mantra because they both are rivals, two wives, no? So psychology is like that. But these are all transcendental dynamics. Both are great devotees of the Lord. But still, these things makes the episode of the Lord's Leelas very interesting. When you see from this union and combination, such wonderful souls are taking birth. So you should not see the material aspect of these things. These are all superficial. You should see the inner transcendental secrets of these Leelas, which only Acharyas can explain. That's why you should actually learn or know Mahabharat from the words of Acharyas. Otherwise, you will be misled. You will think Kunti, Madri, oh, they're also ordinary wives having envious nature, ordinary kings with fighting spirit, envious spirit. You'll have a total different picture if you don't hear from the Acharyas, any Vedic scripture. So it's very risky also to read Vedic scripture independently. Very risky. Instead of getting the right spirit, you may end up with a wrong spirit, wrong understanding, wrong conclusions. Actually, that big risk is there. So that is why Shastras say, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yanagata sapantha. The path of Dharma, the spirit of Dharma is very confidential and cannot be understood by common people. It has to be understood through the mouths of the Mahajanas only. First of all, especially in Kaliga, people are not so pious. If at all they are pious, still they are unfortunate. If at all they are religious, still they are unfortunate because they concoct religious principles. They practice religion as per their whims and fancies. They practice religion as per their understanding, as per their thinking, as per their convenience. That is not religion. That is not dharma. Dharma means that which is set forth by the Mahajanas, and you have to follow in their footsteps, the Acharyas. Then only you are actually strictly religious. Otherwise, you're not religious. You may, as I said, uh, misunderstand many Vedic references, or you may imitate things which are not to be imitated. Hmm? There are many, many things. There are many contradictions, apparent contradictions, no contradictions, apparent contradictions. There are many doubts which scriptures may apparently present to the reader. That's why people get confused. So many mantras, so many pujas, so many gods, so many methods, which one to follow. All are okay. Finally, they come to the conclusion, if they're, so-called gentlemen, okay, let's not fight. Live and let live principle they will follow. Which is a bogus principle. Okay. Everything is okay. That's not true. Why the different mantras? Why the different gods? Why the different procedures? Yes, because the different kinds of people affected by different modes of nature, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Therefore, there are different gods, different modes of worship. These are all discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 17th chapter, it is discussed. In the 18th chapter, these things are discussed of the Bhagavad Gita. But one who's a devotee or transcendental to the modes, for him, Vishnu worship is recommended. People always ask, what is the difference? One who's transcendental or a devotee or who is spiritual, who is above the influence of the modes, for him, Vishnu worship is recommended. For a spiritualist, it is Vishnu worship. But for those who are infected by the three modes, including Sattva Guna, it is different personalities. So those who are in Sattva Guna, the Shastras recommend worship of Devatas. Therefore, you can see people worship Devatas. Sattva Guna doesn't mean pure Sattva Guna. A mix of sattva and other modes. Because in this world, there is no domination of any particular mode. It's always a mix. But only by Krishna consciousness, one can invoke pure sattva guna, which is called Vishuddha Sattva or Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva Sattva. Three terms are used. Shuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva, Vasudeva Sattva. This is what Lord Shiva quoted in his instructions to the Prachetas. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. So Lord Shiva said that Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. In the state of Vasudeva Sattva or transcendental consciousness, transcendental mode, Vasudeva appears. Very interesting. In the platform of Vasudeva Sattva or pure Sattva Vasudeva appears. That means if you are free from the contamination of three modes, then you will have Vasudeva realization, God realization. So God realization, Bhagavat Sakshatkar is possible only if you are in pure Sattva Guna. 100% pure Sattva Guna. Otherwise it is not possible. So, those who are in pure Sattva Guna, the devotees, for them it is Vishnu worship. Those who are in Sattva Guna, it is Devata worship. Those who are in Rajoguna, is worship of demons and asuras. Therefore, we see many times human beings are worshipped. They're all Rajasic people. Sometimes asuras are worshipped. Demonic persons are worshipped for some ulterior benefits. Like in World War II, Prabhupada always quoted. Some people worshipped Hitler because of the World War, they had good business and income. Therefore, Hitler was the cause of their increased economy. Therefore, they worshipped Hitler. So Hitler was their hero, was their god. Rajasic people. So those who are in Tamoguna, they worship ghosts, spirits, and hobgoblins. The Bhuta and Preta worship. Those who are in Tamoguna, they worship the Bhutas and Pretas. So anyway, here we see that coming back to this verse, these pastimes of the Lord are completely designed by the Lord. The Lord himself is the script writer through the agency of the Yoga Maya. And all of these pastimes have a transcendental inner angle, which no ordinary man can understand. Therefore, scriptures have to be heard from the lips of the devotees of the Lord or the acharyas, not from a professional speaker, not from a pandit, not from a scholar, not from any mundane personality. Then one will be misled. If you read the Mahabharata, you'll be surprised. Mahabharata as written by the non-devotees, you will get a total different picture. If you read Bhagavatam, which also presents Mahabharata here, a portion of that, you get total different angle and picture. When you read normally Mahabharata, the picture you will get about Krishna, about Pandavas is very material, very mundane. But when you read Bhagavatam, or the version given by the acharyas, you will get a transcendental perspective and an inner purpose behind each of those episodes. Otherwise, you will misunderstand. See, Kunti and Madri, actually, they're all pure devotees of the Lord, pure devotees of Krishna. So how they can be materialistic? How material envy can creep in? So that's part of the Leela. That's all. You can see Bhishma also, how he took the side of Kauravas. Most surprising and bewildering. Bhishma is classified as one of the Mahajanas. Bhishma is one of the Mahajanas, authority in Dharma. Then how did he take the side of Kauravas, demoniac kings? Very surprising. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vishayena Kaila Anna, Haya Mala Mana. If you eat food in the house of a non-devotee, your mind will be polluted. You may be whoever, even you may be an advanced devotee, you will fall down. If you eat food cooked by a non-devotee, you will fall down. You will become contaminated by his qualities. Therefore, it is strictly prohibited in the Vaishnava uh, um, life that one should strictly avoid eating food cooked by a non-devotee. They may say, Prabhuji, it is prasadam, it is prasadam. It can never be prasadam. Because materialistic person cannot offer food to God. He must be a devotee, even a simple devotee. Then Krishna accepts the food, otherwise not. So one has to be careful. Even a personality like Bhishma, they become contaminated. So much so that he sided Kauravas instead of Pandavas. And Krishna was inside of Pandavas, and still knowing Krishna is on the opposite side, Bhishma Dev did dare to face Krishna as an opponent than as a devotee. So Chaitanya says that is because he took the food cooked in Duryodhana's house. So this is one understanding which the Acharyas have presented. Now there's another transcendental angle. Krishna wanted to teach through Bhishma this danger. It is not that Bhishma Dev actually gets contaminated or influenced. Then how is he Mahajana? How do you reconcile this contradiction, apparent contradiction? Bhishma Dev is Mahajana, but he also became affected, influenced by food cooked by a non-devotee. So how do you reconcile? A pure devotee never falls down, never gets contaminated, never gets influenced. How do you reconcile? The thing is, the another transcendental angle to this understanding is, as explained by the acharyas like Prabhupada, is that the Lord is teaching a lesson to the world through Bhishma Deva. Otherwise, he can never become contaminated, a pure devotee. No possibility of contamination. So, to warn the devotees of the Lord not to become relaxed or lenient or compromise, thinking everything is prasadam, everything is prasadam. Just that there is no onion, garlic, everything is prasadam. No, it doesn't work like that. You become influenced like that. So anyway, coming back to this discussion, so like that we have to understand. That's why we require acharyas. Otherwise, you'll misunderstand. Like some of the other countrymen, they consider Krishna as an evil god. Krishna is considered an evil god outside India, in some countries, some parts of the world, because he was the cause of violence. Today in India also many people have this understanding. Krishna has created and instigated violence. So it's better not to worship Krishna, not to be a devotee of Krishna. And some people don't worship Narasimha. All kinds of concocted ideas they have got. Some people don't worship Rama because he deserted his wife. How is a Maryada Purushottama? Ava Maryada Purushottama, not Maryada Purushottama. All kinds of blasphemy and offenses we will end up in finally. Or we will imitate them. We will always be wrong by not following the Acharya. In the name of being dharmic and religious, actually, we think we are really religious, but actually we'll be professing irreligious convictions. We'll be nurturing irreligious convictions, actually. Very risky, very dangerous. So we should follow the path of dharma, the texts of the Bhagavatam or any scripture as explained by the acharyas, not direct reading. You will misunderstand. So anyway, so as per this transcendental dynamics, so Madri um, uh, didn't ask Kunti Devi for that mantra because she knows for sure Kunti will not give because a rival wife. Coming back to the Leela once again. So then Pandu said, okay, I will ask on your behalf, and Pandu requests Kunti Devi. She said, okay, I'll give the mantra because her husband requested. And then she gave the mantra. Then Madri thought, oh, actually, It's a big thing. I got the mantra once. I doubt I will get the second time the mantra. So what shall I do? She has got 3 sons. From this one mantra, only one son. At least I should have 2 sons. Because second time there's no guarantee of getting the mantra from Kunti. As it is, she is my co-wife. So no possibility. Right. Obviously, once the good vision. So then she thought of Ashwini Kumaras. Because they're twins, twin brothers. So she thought there are 2 sons from them. So one mantra, 2 sons. It's a good deal. So then she prayed to the Ashwini Kumaras and then they came and they delivered 2 sons by name uh, Nakula and Sahadeva, who were endowed with extreme energy and very exquisite beauty. So that's how all these 5 brothers became famously known as the Pandavas. And they were begotten by Kunti Devi. Then each of these 5 brothers had one son through their common wife Draupadi, which was also another very special arrangement and a very unique arrangement. It is not to be imitated. Because Draupadi had 5 husbands, but they were all extremely qualified, noble Mahajanas, great souls. And that cannot be imitated by any ordinary woman as such. Draupadi was a very exceptional woman. So exceptional woman, except exceptional exemptions cannot be for everyone. Same thing with Swayambara. Everybody cannot have the possibility of Swayambara. Every girl cannot have the possibility of Swayambara. Again, exceptional princesses were given that opportunity. Not every princess. So Draupadi also was given the opportunity of Swayambara. So like that, the list goes on. And then Pandavas, through Draupadi, had one son each. And through their other wives, they also had other sons, which was also described in the translations. And Prabhupada also describes about Babruvahana, who was the son of Arjuna, through the daughter of the king of Manipur. And the purport Prabhupada says that Manipur was well known to be the state of Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas had ruled. Arjuna's son ruled Manipur, Babruvahana. And even today, there is a good potential that the entire state can become Krishna conscious if devotees preach nicely Krishna consciousness in this state. But if the Vaishnava spirit is revived there, it will be a wonderful place renowned through the entire world. Manipur Vaishnavas are very famous. They had established many temples in Vrindavan and Mayapur. So even today it can be revived. So in the same principle of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says actually elsewhere, the whole world can become Vaikuntha in the principle of spreading Krishna consciousness. Just that we have to become pure. Krishna can turn the whole world to become filled with devotees, but Krishna is waiting. Krishna is waiting. The acharyas are waiting. If we become pure and sincere, Prabhupada always stressed this. If the devotees are sincere, Krishna will send devotees. If the devotees are sincere and they sincerely practice Krishna consciousness, then the whole world, by the influence of the devotees, will turn to become devotees. So we have to be pure in our following the directions of the Acharya, Prabhupada, by our sincere chanting, sincere following of the principles of Krishna consciousness, reading Bhagavatam daily, hearing Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasadam, worshipping Krishna at your home. If many devotees practice this, it will become a formidable force. It will become a formidable positive, formidable Krishna conscious force. Wherever we go, people will become devotees. Wherever you go and speak, you tell them to become devotees, they'll become devotees. If you are actually a devotee and seriously and sincerely practicing, that spiritual force will influence the other person to become devotee. He may not have any intention of becoming a devotee, any intention of chanting, but he will chant. He will want to become devotee of Krishna. He will want to serve Krishna. He will also want to eat prasadam. He had no intention of giving up meat. He had no intention of giving up alcohol, no intention of chanting, no intention of reading Bhagavad Gita. But because of the devotee, he may change his plan. So, by the grace of the Acharya, that spiritual force is still continuing. That's why Acharya is still there. If we follow Prabhupada sincerely, and Prabhupada said 16 rounds and 4 relative principles, and follow the sadhana, morning sadhana, then Prabhupada will all become empowered to preach Krishna consciousness, and it will be a formidable force. If we all imagine here 200, 250 people sitting here become devotees, whole Mysore will be forced to become city of devotees. Then Mysore can go to Bangalore, make them devotees. Bangalore will go to Bihar, make them devotees. Bihar will go to Bengal, make them devotees. Bengal will go to Kashmir, make them devotees. And will go to America, make them devotees. A formidable force it will become. That's what Prabhupada did actually. One man went and preached and created a world of devotees. Prabhupada said one man actually this himself. That is the grace of his Guru. Similarly, we have the grace of our Guru. So it is possible, provided we remain sincere to the Acharya and follow his principles and direction strictly and sincerely. Stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. We'll be celebrating Harinam festival next Sunday, 16 July from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So Prabhupada used the Hare Krishna formidable force to make devotees across the world. So Bhagavatam and Hare Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, these three things was powerful force which Prabhupada used, and Krishna Prasadam undoubtedly to make the world become devotees. So, but Prabhupada began with the Hare Krishna force, formidable force. So that's why this Harinam Sankirtan is very, very powerful. It will transform your entire life. It will create a spiritual revolution in your life. So let's take part in the Sankirtana and become empowered, purified, sanctified, and experience a very special spiritual bliss by performing Sankirtana for Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Krishna Balaram. So next Sunday morning 9 after the Bhagavatam class till night 9 p.m. we'll have continuous Sankirtana. As much possible take part. That's why we also do Sankirtana in our land. Actually, the entire temple, all the ISKCON temples, particularly ISKCON temples across the world is coming. They're all manifestations and the fruits of Sankirtana. And Hare Krishna, Japa, Hare Krishna Sankirtana, the fruits, just like tree has got a fruit, all the fruits of Sankirtana actually. They are transcendental Hare Krishna manifestations. They're not a manifestation of concrete and money and steel and cement. It's Sankirtana manifestation. So therefore, more devotees do Sankirtana in the land. Very quickly, Lord Chaitanya, Gaura Narayana, is called Gaura Narayana, will be very happy to bless all of us, the entire Mysore city, the entire world with a beautiful temple here. The more devotees call for Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, more quickly they will come. More Sankirtana we perform. So Sankirtana is very important. At your home also you perform, Gaura Narayana will manifest there also. We'll be celebrating Vyasa Puja of Srila Prabhupada. This is the 127th appearance of Srila Prabhupada in this world. It is on 8th September, the day after Krishna Janmashtami. Krishna Janmashtami is 7th September. So Krishna Janmashtami Mahotsav ki jai. Srila Vyasa Puja Mahotsav ki jai. So it is said that devotees who are blessed by Prabhupada, they should offer glorification to the Acharya. There are different ways where you can return your Rina to the Guru. One of the simplest ways is to glorify him. To glorify Him. Doesn't cost you also. Even to bring a fruit costs something, right? You may not want to. Or you may not, for whatever reason, practical reasons or financial reasons, whatever. At least you can glorify the Guru. So, by glorifying the Guru, Krishna becomes extremely pleased and will give you very special blessings. The Acharya will become very pleased and best of you, Krishna conscious realizations, Krishna conscious strength to practice bhakti. Without strength, you cannot be a devotee. Maya will take over. But by the Acharya's strength, your devotion will be maintained. Through his devotional strength, your devotion will be maintained. Now, how do you get his blessings? You have to glorify the Acharya. So you can meet the devotees to get an idea, if you are new, how to glorify Prabhupada and seek his blessings. So that's called Vyasa Puja. Vyasa Puja is the appearance day of the Acharya, but it's called Vyasa Puja because the present Acharya represents Vyasa Deva in the Parampara. That's why the Acharya's birthday appearance day is celebrated as Vyasa Puja. But he must be a sincere representative of Vyasadeva. He cannot be otherwise. Everybody cannot celebrate Vyasa Puja. Those who don't bow down to Vyasadeva and still claim as a guru cannot celebrate Vyasa Puja. He must be a sincere representative of Vyasadeva, follower of Vyasadeva, like that. So we are celebrating this Srila Prabhupada's 127 Vyasa Puja on 8th September. So in about one or 2 weeks time, you have to submit your Vyasa Puja homages. It's just about A4 size printout. It can be less than that also. So whatever you feel, how you came in touch with Krishna consciousness, how you were blessed by Prabhupada and your life transformed by coming in touch with ISKCON and Krishna consciousness, you can write some few words. Even 2 lines is also okay, and seek the Acharya's blessings. And you can submit it to there is one email ID. There's a notice being put up. You can go through that also. Email ID where you can directly type your offerings and post it online. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.